Hello, hello. Can you finally hear me? So, I am so sorry. I have just had an absolute nightmare with my broadband and have been on my hands and knees plugging, unplugging cables, checking cables, doing the online diagnostics. I was just losing patience and about to phone my broadband company. And it just started working. So I have no idea what that was about. Perhaps, I don't know. Perhaps the universe was waiting for someone to be available. I don't know. So lovely to have you here with me today. Thank you so much for your patience. I really do appreciate it. The joys of the online world, right? So let me just get the video up. And ironically, today I have another meeting. So otherwise I would do an extra and a little bit the full hour, but unfortunately that's not going to be possible. Where am I? There I am. Hi Louise, gorgeous. Hi Gabby, thank you so much for bearing with me. I hope you're having a beautiful morning. I hope you are feeling into abundance and feeling really good, really good from everything we talked about yesterday. And today I thought what we would do is going on this theme of pressing the reset button on the new year. And now we're feeling hopefully a little bit more settled in our nervous system, feeling a little bit more excited about this idea of abundance. I thought it'd be really beautiful if we spent some time really visioning what it is you want to bring into reality this year. But before we go into that, I wanted to just kind of go through two main things that can get in our way of, we can use the word manifesting. For some people, that really triggers them and feels a little bit woo-woo, but for bringing our dreams into reality, for bringing our visions to fruition, for actually allowing them to appear in this external world. There's a couple of things internally that we have to be really aware of. So I want us to check in with that first before we go into this visioning work, so that it doesn't get in the way, it doesn't cause resistance, it doesn't lead us to either minimize our visions or pull on visions that aren't ours to pull on. And what I mean by that is we are fed so much information about what we should desire, about what should be important to us, about, the things that make a successful life. So this is really about you tapping into that part of you that just knows what it is you really want. So we're going to be doing that. But firstly, I want us to check in with these two kind of energies that can pull us off track. The first one is this kind of toxic masculine energy. Now, we want the divine masculine, right? We want our power and our strength and our self-belief and our ability to take action and feel courageous and move beyond our fears. We want all of those divine masculine elements. But what we don't want to fall into is that going into this kind of toxic form, which is where our visions and the things we want to manifest turn into desires that are driven by proving ourselves, desires that are driven by getting one over on someone else, of being in competition, of keeping up with the Joneses, of when I think about this energy, like the people that come to mind are like the Donald Trumps of the world, where you can tell it's not something that he genuinely, half the time you can tell he's not driving for things from a place of, I just feel so soul aligned. When I look at Donald Trump, I just see this little boy that's trying to prove himself and thinks he has to do that by doing that whole kind of survival of the fittest and I'm going to get one over on you. And do you know what I mean? There's that real icky energy of it's not personal power. There's no kind of, he's overly confident because he's trying to overcompensate. And this is what the toxic masculine can drive us into that feeling of competition, that there's not enough to go around. So we've got to work harder and work faster and, strive and struggle and compete with everyone out there. We know that's not true, right? We know there's an abundance of resources to go around. There's an abundance of experiences. And for me, there's nothing that fills my soul more than seeing other amazing women doing amazing things in this world and going out and living their dream life and, really shining and having a beautiful impact in this world. So we need to really check we're not getting into comparison or competition when we're looking at our vision around this kind of toxic masculine energy. And then, we want the divine feminine. So we want to know that we're creative and we are possible. It is possible for us to magnetize people to us, and we can use our energy to create, and we can pull on the ether and the magic that's inside us. And sometimes that comes with a bit of chaos, but good chaos where we let things go. And, as women, we tend to be really in tune with that life and death cycle where we know what we need to release and what we need to claim in, what we need to give birth to in this world. But then again, there's a toxic side. There's a toxic feminine side that we can find ourselves getting pulled into. And although our feminine side is innately designed to receive, when we're in that toxic feminine, it comes from a place of being a victim, poor me, not taking ownership, wanting someone else to fix us or do it for us, being in that place of almost over entitlement, like I shouldn't have to do anything to make this happen. I shouldn't have to go out and do the work. I shouldn't have to, actually put the effort in. So we can fall into that kind of toxic, someone come along and save me. Where's my knight in shining armor? I want to just marry rich, that kind of toxic feminine where it feels very, and the word that comes up for me as I think about this is like victimy. It's like someone save me, a damsel in distress. So as we're going into this vision work, I want you to just initially, just now, check in with your energy and check you haven't got either of these two sides going on as you think about what it is you might want to create this year. So just checking in, there's no kind of toxic masculine where you're feeling like you've got to compete or prove or compare yourself or justify who you are or justify your worth. That's not what this is about. And if you can feel any of that energy inside of you, I invite you to see if you can just allow yourself to loosen your grip on that and see if you can just allow it to dissipate. You may not be able to remove it, but perhaps you can just loosen your attachment to it. See what it is. It's not serving you. Your power comes from owning who you are, from being who you are, not trying to be anything else. It's impossible to compete with other people because no one is you. And really activating that part of you that knows that actually you can achieve anything you set your mind to. That you can form new patterns, that you can take action that's scary, that you can face your fears. And your will is a powerful thing. It's just a matter of deciding. And then checking in with that feminine energy now. And checking you haven't got pulled into any kind of victim stories around your circumstances or what you've experienced or what you believe you're capable of. Noticing if there's any tendencies to wait for someone to save you, to wait for someone to do it for you, to fix you, to heal you, to bring your dreams to reality. Because again, we know we're the only ones that can create the changes and the life that we desire. No one else is responsible for you. So letting go of any part of you that doesn't feel like it's fully owning that. Again, allow that energy to either dissipate or just loosen your attachment on it. And remember that you're a creative, powerful force. You have the ability to create life in your body. So of course you can bring projects or ideas or whatever it is that you want to bring to life. Of course you can. It's what your body's designed for. And you have the creativity and vision to make it a reality. And letting that go now. So, starting to think about 2023. And we've got 11 months left. And 11 months, that's a lot of time. I probably should have worked out how many days that is. I don't know. It's a lot of days. So during that time, you can create immense change, right? You can create and bring to life amazing things. If we think a year is 365 days, this is my maths now. So 365 days, so what's that? 334 left? Wow, I'm slightly impressed if that's right. It probably isn't. Someone will tell me. So starting to think about, okay, so knowing you're powerful, knowing that you have that strength and courage inside of you, because everyone does. This isn't something that's just gifted into certain people. This is a choice people make over and over and over again. They're disciplined with their mindset. They're disciplined with their state of being. They're disciplined in tuning in with their vision. of what they're wanting to create. So taking a moment now with your pen and paper, and I invite you to think about initially, how do you want your family life to feel in 2023? So this might be an extension of how it already feels. It may be grounding into more presence in that, or it may be something completely different. You may want to bring something in. You may want to be letting something go. How do you want your family life to evolve in 2023? I'm going to give you a moment to write down. And feel free to pop in the comments anything that you want to remember or give extra energy to by sharing it with people in the group. I would love to hear from you. How do you want your family life to evolve in 2023? And we're not going to have long to spend on each of these points because time's limited today. But who said that? Louise, I don't have family anymore, sadly. So what do you want? What is it that you want to bring to life? Remember, we're not getting pulled into that feeling of this is my circumstances, so I'm deflated by it. That's that kind of toxic feminine. This is a place of, what am I calling in? What am I bringing in? What am I manifesting? What do I want to call to me? I would love to know. Gabby, you lost your parents last year. I know, lovely. It's so tough. So how do you want 2023 to look different in your family unit? Hey, Kerry, gorgeous. Lovely to see you. Hope you're doing well, lovely. So we're going to have to move on quite quickly because time's limited. So next, starting to think about, and you may want to close your eyes for this. I find that quite helpful. Louise, to make new friendships, perfect, beautiful. And I would think, when you've got time, because of course we haven't got a lot of time, how do you want those friendships to feel? What sort of people do you want to attract in? What kind of friends are they going to be? Because we need to be careful, right? Not to just latch on to people because they're a friend. We want beautiful friendships, right? We want people that we can be honest and vulnerable with, but who will also call us out on our BS. They're my kind of friends. My friends are beautiful, caring, compassionate, but give me a good kick up the backside when I need it and will say, Holly, yeah, what are you doing? Come on. They also are really aligned to my values. They tend to have, no, that's not true. I was going to say they tend to have similar interests. That's not always true. Because I think it's important that we expand our mind and, but yeah, have a think about those qualities. What's the qualities of those friendships you want to make? And then we're going to be thinking about what's the environment you want to create in 2023. So this might be around your physical environment. This could be around your energetic environment and your own energetic state that you were taking into 2023. This could be like really practical, tangible things like, if you work from home or have an online business, then you may think, well, where do I want to work from this year? What's the environments I want to be in? Where do I want to spend my time? Where do I want to go on holiday? Where do I want to visit? What are the environments I'm putting myself into in 2023? Because I don't know about you, but for me, my environment is so, so important. It has such an impact on me. So what environments are you bringing in 2023? And taking a moment to note anything down. And again, popping anything in the comments that comes through for you. Lots coming through for me. I'm frantically writing. Sometimes it's just a word, right? Sometimes it's just a word. The word that I keep coming back to at the moment is expansive. I love that word because it feels freeing and exciting, and it reminds me of all the possibilities that are available. So for me, just that simple word changes my energetic state of being. When I think about expansive, I want to be in an environment that feels expansive. So whether that's with the people I'm interacting with my physical environment, so spending time, down the beach with like expansive oceans, whether that's just my internal state of being, of just allowing myself to be expansive, not being restricted, not being small, being, that hell yeah. Louise, contentment, beautiful, gorgeous word, love that word. And that can relate to everything, right? That could be your home environment, that can be your internal state, that could be those physical environments that you visit that just leave you feeling content. When I think of content and physical environments, I'd think of woods for me. The woods are like my place of contentment. And happiness and fulfillment, beautiful. Oh, lots to play with there. So coming into the next point that we want to envision. And it's this idea of purpose, fulfillment, contribution. Why are you here? What impact are you making? What difference are you making in this world? How do you want to play in 2003? What do you want that to look like? How big or small do you want that to be? And initially, sometimes that work, if we're early on in the journey, might be finding our own healing or working on ourselves first. But sometimes it's giving ourselves permission to dream really big, to take off those labels of little old me and who am I to do this. How do you want to be purposeful and fulfilled this year? What impact do you want to make? What contribution? You may even want to see yourself doing it in your mind's eye, seeing what that might be or the actions that might be involved in that. And again, noting anything down that feels really important to you. Louise, contentment, it's the beach for you. Love that. And Kerry, feminine energy. Oh yeah. I love being in the feminine. I have to say. It's a fun place to play, right? So what is going to be your purpose this year? How are you getting fulfillment? What contribution are you making? Kerry, sharing your journey and being of service to others, support them on their journey. Beautiful. And I know you will do beautiful things with that. And you're going to help change so many lives. And how gorgeous is it to know that's true? Beautiful. Louise, kindness to yourself and others. Is there a more gorgeous gift that you can give to the world? I'm not sure. Beautiful. And you know what? Sometimes that's the hardest thing in the world, right? I think often as women, we're quite good at being kind to other people, but being kind to ourselves, not so great. We tend to fluctuate between that must do better energy and woe is me. Whereas kindness is that part in between, right? Of holding ourselves accountable, yet being nurturing and giving ourselves the needs, fulfilling our own needs and filling up our cup and giving ourselves permission to do all of that. Beautiful. So, I'm sorry it was a short one today. But what I invite you to do is spend some more time with this today. So go get really clear on what is the energy you want to be taking into 2023. What are the things that you want to experience? What are the things that are most important to you? And get really clear on this vision. Now you might find that easy. I'm struggling to talk today, can you tell? You might find that easier to do in your mind's eye and then write about it. You may find this easier to paint or draw. You may want to journal about this and just see what comes through for you. But allow yourself to really create a vision for 2023. And making sure that you're doing this from a place of being in alignment with those energies. So you're not going into the toxic masculine of feeling like I've got to compete or compare, or it's got to be, I've got to prove myself, or there's any of that kind of striving energy for other people's approval. You've got nothing to prove. This isn't about proving anything to anyone. This is about living in line with your vision and creating the life that you truly desire. But at the same time, make sure you're not falling into that toxic feminine of It feels like too much effort and I want someone to do it for me. And can't I just marry rich? That comes up a lot. And that kind of damsel in distress. I'm going to minimize my dreams because, it feels like too much effort. And I'm just going to play small and girl next door kind of energy. You're not a girl next door. None of us are. Louise, you're aware you put yourself into victim mode, feeling sorry for yourself. We can all fall into it, lovely. So what I would say is let go of any judgment you've got to that, because all of us do it. All of us can fall into that poor me energy. We all do it. The trick is to become more and more and more aware so that when you start feeling yourself doing it, you can go, well, no, we're not doing that today. We're going to go do something else. And you might want to have something that that snaps you out of that energy quite quickly. So something that, dancing around your kitchen. The minute you find yourself falling into victim, you go, no, I'm going to go dance around my kitchen. Why a kitchen? I don't know. It feels like my dance space. Yours might be something different. Or there might be something else that you do that feels equally uplifting, something that's going to pull you out of that energy. And that might just help in the meantime to kind of, help you start flipping that switch around the victim mode. Exactly, sing it away. Great. You could start going into that, let it go, let it go. I started singing that to my hubby yesterday because he was getting a bit wound up because he'd got a parking ticket. And bless him, I could just see him like going back over it, and he was getting really annoyed with himself and the fact that it happened. I was like, whoa, it's done, come on. But he didn't appreciate me singing Frozen, unfortunately. But he is feeling better now. Good. So the thing is, our healing work can be quite heavy at times, right? It can feel quite, there can be a heaviness to it, especially when we're dealing with things like looking at past traumas and letting go of limiting beliefs and building our self-worth and confidence. It is so, so important that we remember to keep humor and lightness as well. So as much as you can infuse into this work, the better. So I'm going to love you and leave you. I am wishing you the most beautiful time creating your vision for 2023. And tomorrow I've got something extra special to share with you. So I would love to see you here. I will do my best to be here on time with no tech issues. And yeah, I think you're going to find it quite magical. So have a gorgeous day. I will see you soon. Take care.